Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Mother-in-Law Suite. Sorry we didn't do an episode last week. I was really busy. School's been kind of crazy, and I went out of town. I had a big thing. It didn't work out. But this week we got something special for you. I got a friend Justin here.
Hello.
Yeah, we got an in live session recording. Let's go, let's go. You know how it is. Sometimes I grace you guys. So, Justin, how you been doing?
Doing pretty well. Doing pretty well. It's been just dealing with school classes and
Yeah, very relatable,
yeah,
understandable. Yeah,
yeah.
firsthand. Justin is also part of the Dungeon World campaign that I've been streaming on my Twitch on every Monday at twitch.tv/Bob the Potato. You know, shameless plug to my own, to my own.
You guys tune in. I am Cane Celery,
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's pretty fun. I mean, we've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying it. He's actually the current acting DM. We're doing like a weird spin-off. It's pretty cool. A little backstory off of one of the characters in the session. Yeah,
character being me.
yeah. It's pretty cool. I mean that you and Azriel,
Yeah,
because I mean we're going into
yeah.
his background too,
That's right.
which is pretty cool. I think I might want to try to DM like my character's backstory, because like
Yeah,
I kind of want to like be controlling Wid Ul, but like behind the scenes, and I kind of want Wid Ul to be all altering the universe. Does that make sense? Like I
yeah.
think it'd be really cool,
The
since,
universe.
or not the
Put it
universe, but like
correctly.
the world. Yeah, that like, because like if he like kills the king of Dawnstar or something, like
That'd be
yeah,
pretty.
that'd be pretty,
Yeah,
that'd be something.
that would be cool.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's pretty cool, but with school,
Yeah.
Justin, what are you going for right now?
Well, I'm kind of a weirdo going
Yeah.
for a bachelor's of science in mathematics.
Hey, we all need crazy people.
Yeah,
Yeah, the world spins with crazy people.
yeah. But yeah, so I'm doing that. I like math a lot. That's why
Yeah.
I'm doing it. I used to be aerospace engineering, but I realized I was asking too many questions about like how the math worked and not how the engineering worked.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just I don't know, I wasn't enjoying my classes as much as I wanted to be.
Yeah.
So once I failed a few of them during COVID and all that, I switched majors to math,
Yeah.
and I'm liking that a lot more.
I got a I did not enjoy math in high school. I was
Yeah,
really good at math in middle school. I was like gifted. I was doing like high school level algebra in like 6th grade, and then like I got to high school and
yeah.
I did not care anymore. I like gave up with math. I was like, screw this stuff, man.
Did
And then like I went into college and I
uh
wanted
huh.
to do like IT and stuff, and then I had to pass algebra 1, or like college algebra or whatever.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. I like tried twice, and I'm like, man, I don't think math is for me. I think I just don't want to deal with
Yeah.
numbers. I don't know what like switched in
There.
my brain, but like
Yeah.
I started really caring about like literature arts, liberal arts, just
Mhm.
I like the arts. I don't know why.
Yeah. I mean, did you have bad teachers for
I
math?
mean, Shandon picked on me a lot.
Yeah, he did that to everybody though.
He
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 picked on you
he picked on me
specifically.
like hard in my
Yeah.
class. Like I was like very singled out.
There
Like it
were.
was like to the
Yeah.
point to where like I went to the guidance counselor one time and he like got mad at me. He's like, you don't go to the guidance counselor. You ask me. And I'm like, bro, no,
Yeah.
I don't. Like I'm the student here. Like if I want to go see the guidance counselor, I can go see the guidance
Yeah.
counselor.
He was rough.
Yeah.
There was a few times I think every year he made somebody
I
cry.
mean, I passed the
Yeah.
class, but like he would like point at me and be like, "Don't be like this guy." Like every class, like super full. Do not be like this guy. I'm like, "Geez, man."
Yeah.
Like,
Kind of
goodness.
shitty.
Yeah, it was what it was. I mean, I got through it either way. I think I also just didn't study. Like, I feel like early math is like pretty really simplistic. Like,
Yeah.
what they
It's a
teach you in middle school and
it's just
in
rote
elementary school.
memorization.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly. So I feel like in middle school, I was like looking for more in math and I got bored with it. So I just stopped paying attention to it. So whenever
Yeah.
I got into high school, I like missed stuff that I don't know
Yeah.
because I felt like I just knew it already. And then I remember one
They
time I like I like challenged the teacher
Mhm.
because she like I thought she messed something up and she didn't and I was like, "Oh no." Like I messed up.
Yeah.
I was like that was like the first time I like noticeably messed up in math. I was like, "Wait a minute. Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Am I a human? Do I mess up?"
I think the thing that kept me interested with it was I kind of knew there was
Uh-huh.
more to it than just like adding and dividing. Because like we would go through the math classes and I would just kind of realize, oh, I didn't know that. And then after having that a few times, it'd be like,
Or
oh,
you're saying like patterns and like
yeah.
statistics and like,
Well,
or I
just
mean like number theory and things like that.
kind of, yeah. Like just the way the numbers
I
worked.
feel like that's the
I
way like it kind of revealed itself as more complexing. I mean,
Yeah,
like I respect math and I can still do it today.
yeah.
It's just I didn't want it in my everyday life.
That's
Um,
true.
it's it, math is like the way to prove everything and I like understand that. Like I
Yeah,
feel like a lot of people don't make that connection with mathematics and like
yeah,
I view its value. Like I know its value because
yeah.
like
We
you
wouldn't.
can I mean I'm taking astronomy and that's literally only math. Like it
Yeah.
is like like predicting like angles, like interception of paths and orbits and
Physics.
ellipses
Yeah.
and and trying to figure out like it's gotten to the point to where we can gauge how long it is until we can see a comet again based off how long we saw it in our sky
Yeah.
around it. So I think that's crazy and it's because we know math to do it, and it's like and it's not even that hard math because
Yeah.
we don't even have to take aerodynamics into play because there's inertia,
Yeah.
and it's in space, so it just kind of keeps going. The
Yeah.
only thing you have to think about is like the gravity of like it slowing down at the height of the ellipse to go back, but like
Yeah.
even then, I mean, I
And
don't know, I think it's just cool.
it's really pretty as well. Like I think one thing that really solidified like my love for it, I guess, is in Shannon's class we went over the quadratic equation, and I remember looking at that. I was like, that's some crazy just whack
The
shit. I was like,
negative b plus or
yeah,
minus square root.
negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus
Yeah,
4acl over 2a.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
And like I was like he derived it for us on the board and I was like I do not understand how he did that.
Yeah.
I just memorized it. But then a few years later, I looked back at it and I said, "Well, let me take a look at this." And it was so easy. I was like, "Oh, duh, that's how you derive it." And it's
Yeah.
just I don't know, that
I mean,
was
I remembered that because he had the little song, but like that was my
yeah.
issue is I just never remembered formulas and I didn't
Yeah.
know. My issue was like I was memorizing all these formulas, but I didn't know when to use them. I didn't know in what scenario I needed to use which
Yeah.
one. And like at some point like that's just me not like kind of being ignorant. Like I said, I just kind of was always good at it,
it
so I never
it's
had to
hard
like
it's hard
look
to
into it.
yeah, and when you just have to memorize this stuff that you don't know where it goes, there's no motivation to it,
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
just hard
So
to you forget it.
I don't know. I mean the things that I enjoyed about mathematics was like using it to predict theories and things like that and just like
Yeah.
the actual like theory of it. So like I enjoyed like variables and
Yeah.
kind of trying to solve for things or just generalized equations. But
You
and I feel like that's just normalized
yeah.
mathematics, but like at the same time like I feel like that reflects like what I really like in the literature. I really like theory in general, like just
Yeah.
like looking at the abstract, the bigger picture.
Do you like literature?
I mean, to an extent, it depends on
Yeah.
what I'm reading and what it
Yeah.
is. Um, I find myself the more literature that I like find myself absorbing is through media intake. So whether like that be like writing, TV show, video game writing, anything like that.
Yeah.
People can disregard that if they don't want to regard that as a literature. But I mean, like literature as we used to know it, like people aren't just writing books anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
people are still writing and expressing through emotions, but
Yeah.
I feel like people disregard it as media. But
Just
I feel
because it's
like
not in a book
yeah,
form. Yeah.
exactly. And I mean, sometimes some people, I'm not saying all. I mean,
Yeah.
like film major students and everybody obviously understand that and can see that, but like I feel like a lot of like maybe English majors or something kind of might have a stigma towards like film and
Yeah.
stuff like that because it maybe not. I mean, I'm not
It's interesting because, like,
it might be it might be like a hollow assumption. But I'm maybe like just to theorize because I've kind of had people like where I'm like I don't really watch TV. I don't have time for it. I just read books or something. You know,
yeah,
it kind of feels prejudiced to me, like or pretentious. I'm like, well, you know, you can't get like a Tony Soprano in a book. You know, like
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, but like because you're combining not only the writing and the intricacies of like a story within
The
this TV
pacing, yeah.
show, but you're combining like a man's true emotions, like that he is like triggering to accurately represent these emotions that you have
Yeah.
like fictionally wrote on a
Would you
piece of
would you
paper.
consider, like, if you look at the cinematography, is that's like an art form?
Yes,
So
extremely.
so would that be also literature,
To an
kind of?
extent, there's literature about um the art form, so cinematography and things
Yeah.
like that, especially the discussion of it. If you go into um like like I said, film school and things like that, or if you go into
Yeah.
like journalism or critiques of movies or the film world, so like Rotten
Yeah.
Tomatoes and things like that. So whenever we were watching Citizen Kane, they have a bunch of like deep focus shots where you can see like the front and the back of the shot, so you can see far away, you can see close up, everything's in focus. They
Uh-huh.
use that a lot when there's a scene where there's a kid outside playing in the window, like you can see through the window, you can see the people in the foreground writing a piece of paper on the table,
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
not like a lot of today's media where it's like you have the
Well, I mean,
focus.
there is sometimes.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's reflective. It's used, but that's the thing is,
It's not
depending.
a
It's a
requirement.
tool.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say. Is like the reason he chose to use deep focus in that shot. I'm trying to play on the fact that like of the original question of like is the cinematography literature, and in a way, yes, because it helps refine your point of what you're trying
Yeah.
to convey to the viewer at the time of viewing in the show.
Mhm.
So like
It adds
if
to it
if if,
adds to the
if
writing
I'm
because
I'm
it
just
gives more
saying
meaning
like
to it.
if somebody's like talking to
Uh-huh.
someone, like let's say like someone's like in a cafe and they're sitting in a booth, right? And the camera is positioned outside the booth looking out the window with the character in shot, right? Let's say the camera is in focus of the person sitting at the table, right? But the focus slowly transitions to outside the window, and there's somebody standing outside the window. Some suspenseful music plays up, and you can see someone standing outside the window looking at this person, right?
Yeah.
Within just the cinematography, if you remove the music, you can still get a gauge that somebody's watching this person, and that
Yeah.
alone will make you uncomfortable, henceforth steering you along, almost guiding you like a story would, making you feel emotions of suspense and
Yeah.
fear and things like that.
Ooh, that's interesting. Do you think that, like, if a movie can be viewed silently and you get the same ideas, then it's
It
good?
depending in some movies. Like I mean,
Yeah.
if you watched A Marriage Story and you have it mute, I mean, you'll miss a lot of context, but you can tell that like they care about
Yeah.
each other, but they're
Yeah.
like getting upset, and you don't really know why, but you can tell like they're probably
Yeah.
having a fallout. You know,
Mhm.
um, if
Obviously,
you're
like,
watching Interstellar without audio, you're gonna probably have a hard time figuring out what's happening unless you're well versed in like
yeah.
cosmic science or like
Yeah.
like quantum physics.
Yeah.
Like do black holes really alter time that much on planets that are within the event horizon? Like
I
does
know.
it, or not within the event horizon but within the
Orbit.
affected
Yeah,
gravity
yeah.
range? Like
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll really be able to convey that over
Yeah,
just
true.
visual, but
Obviously, you need, like, the writing.
yeah,
You
yeah,
you need the
exactly. But
speech, but
there's definitely ways. I mean, with the silent film, they still had text on screen. They had the intermission cards that they would
yeah.
pop up, and then that would like kind of give you an idea. Be like, "Hey Joe, you can't smoke in here. Like you got to go outside." And then like he says, "I'll tell you what, I'm gonna smoke right here. If you don't like it, you gotta kick me out yourself."
Yeah.
And then it's like the piano, and then the
Uh-huh.
dude like winds up the punch, and like it's I mean rudimentary filmmaking, like
Yeah.
early whatever, but I mean like it's still fun.
State of the art at the
Yeah,
time.
But so what you said, like, are you still looking into going into maybe like the calculations of more so aerospace?
Well,
Like,
no, I think I'm probably leaving kind of the engineering sphere and going more into the software development.
okay.
I've
See, that's
been,
what I wanted to do, but
yeah,
that's why I immediately got out because there was so much math
yeah,
involved. Like, I thought software development looked really cool, but
it is, but
it's just that's a lot of like really gauged critical thinking and like making sure you don't mess stuff up, and that like gives me anxiety. Is like
yeah,
being on that threshold of being like
it's,
I don't know. I found myself being more comfortable trying to clarify and get a point across by speaking than it was like with me trying to like find an error in something that I wrote down. Because
yeah,
there's nothing worse than trying to solve a problem and then like getting to the end of the problem after you spent 30 minutes and it being wrong and you're
another,
being like,
yeah,
how is it
yeah,
wrong? What did I
I
do
know the
wrong here?
feeling.
So I just don't like the critical analysis of why you're wrong. I think that's
Yeah, it
horrible.
it's all kind of up to like good practices. Like if you code in a way that's just hard to read, it's gonna be a pain in the ass to find your bugs.
Oh, for sure.
But you break it down into digestible chunks, and the more experienced you are, the bigger those chunks can be. So like,
Well, I know coding is more like a language than it is like after you get there. But
yeah,
it's the learning the math to get there first. I mean, I think because I've like looked at coding like for the most part. I had like you said, there's like
yeah.
there's chunks. So I mean like it's
Well, it's an important thing is you can write any program with an if, an else, and a for loop.
yeah.
You can write any
That's what I'm
program with
saying.
that.
Yeah.
But can you write an efficient program with like you yes, you can, but like my point is you have to know the intricacies of how the computer works, the math. That's where all the critical thinking comes when you try and make it efficient.
Yeah.
If it's you can make it work. Like let's say you want to sort an array of something, right? You could just randomly sort it, check if it's sorted, and then boom,
Yeah.
at some point you'll have a sorted array. But that is so inefficient,
Yeah, exactly.
and to know the ways that you can do it efficiently are not not immediately intuitive.
Yeah.
And that's where you really need to focus on the critical thinking part. Like, okay, how can I make this more efficient? And like, oh, you can use binary searching or merge sort or whatever like that
Yeah.
that are more complex and just not as easy as just
I
randomly
think
sorting
that's
it.
what the issue was whenever I first got into it was I just had no idea where or what to do with it and I
Yeah,
didn't know like I like panic when I don't know something because I don't know what I don't know. So I don't know how to figure it out. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah.
I don't know what I'm missing, so I'm not sure how to find that piece of information.
That's one of the biggest like difficulty curves to get over. Once you know enough about whatever you're doing to ask questions, you're fine.
Yeah.
But getting to that point is difficult, especially if you have no like nothing to guide you.
Yeah.
You're just going into it alone. Like I'm trying to learn Python right now, finally, and I have this book that I've been like following through, and it has challenges and sections, and it's entertaining, and
Mhm.
I'm learning a lot from it. I'm able to like write programs, simple programs in Python, and it's I don't know, it's very useful. But if I had to learn it from scratch and just reading documentation,
Yeah.
it would definitely be a lot more of a pain in the ass. But
Yeah, I can understand that.
yeah, it's what was the original question?
I don't think there was one.
Oh
I
yeah,
think we just kind of ended up on this.
yeah.
I mean
The
the original.
critical thinking
Well,
on.
no, I mean the original question was me asking you if you're going into aerospace
Oh
with
yeah,
the if
no,
that was your idea, and you said software
nope.
engineer
I'm a math major on the computational
or
track.
software design or whatever you want
Yeah,
to call it.
yeah. I'm not quite like a computer science degree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more math, but I do have to take classes that are geared more for CS.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I don't know, like operating systems and computer science classes, and like
Yeah.
I have to take those. A normal math major wouldn't. But that's kind of my goal, just so I can also be around the math that I like so much and not lose
I
the.
don't really like I have a goal, but I don't like know really what it is. So like before I
Yeah,
started school, I worked for 2 years and I really didn't know how to view that like 2 year hiatus of like me working.
yeah,
And the other day I kind of like found some words to like put to it that like kind of summarizes it. All I did for 2 years before, like when I stopped going to college, before I'm going back now, I just proved to myself that I can make myself a living doing a normal work life, like just doing the normal, like work, like field of work, like just middle class, lower class, whatever. I could easily go into a production job and make 40 grand a year and live
yeah.
comfortably, but
Did
I'm
it did
not
it give you
satisfied with
did
that.
it give you that
I mean, I just
it
proved to
gave you a
myself.
fallback?
Yeah, yeah.
So you're
It's
just
just.
if this goes wrong, am I gonna be
Oh,
homeless?
exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
no. So my thing is like I know I can do that, so I'm like not really worried about it. Like I have goals. I don't want to live in Florida all my life. I really
yeah.
want to get out of the state.
Same.
So like I want to see the world. There's a bunch of things out there that I want to do, and for me to like, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but like,
Hmm. It's nice to have like a
yeah, it's just I have a fail safe. All I
hmm.
did for 2 years was just prove to
What
myself that I can do something,
yeah
that I
what
can I can have a job, I can be a functioning member of society, even if it's like just the
yeah.
average functioning member.
You said you're not satisfied with that though.
No, I'm not.
What do you want to do?
Um, I want to feel like I'm giving something. I feel like I have value to offer,
Yeah,
at least perspective wise on things. I
yeah,
feel like I view the world differently than others, and I feel like my opinion has some sort of value to it. And I don't know if that's just me having an ego. I don't think I do.
no,
I view myself as pretty humble, but I find
yeah,
myself people I for a long time like I really was hesitant with like advice. I like gave people advice and I don't know
yeah,
why, and I felt like people didn't like it and I was always scared I gave the wrong advice. And I always did it and I didn't know why and I kind of always felt bad about it. But then after a while people were like, "Tim, you're like wise." like
yeah,
people like there's a guy, my sister's friend calls me Tim the Wise, and I just talked to him once. My
yeah,
grandmother talks to me. I remember I was having a conversation with her like a while back, and it was like a really important heavy conversation, and she was like, when did you like get so wise? And I'm like, I
that's
don't really know.
yeah,
And I don't want to like gas myself up because I have a really hard time kind of doing that, but at the
yeah,
same time I feel like it's really important to it as well.
yeah.
But
I
I
feel
like I
like
like I said, I just like
yeah,
I feel like my ego is kind of coming back, and I'm like I said, I feel like I do have something important to say and something important to provide. So like ultimately I want to provide something for people.
yeah,
Like I want to whether it be a service, whether it be a podcast like this, I want to produce something. I want to make something for people that they can take something from.
yeah,
It doesn't have to be a material form, preferably not a material form. That's why I'm looking for journalism, whether it be information on a subject, whether it be maybe like just having a
something
source
that's
to like
something that's
come
not going to
listen
turn
to and
into
chill down,
yeah.
chill out to. Maybe if it's music, performing art, something that
Mhm.
might mean something important to someone. I love music. Music is extremely important to me. If
Yeah,
I can inspire that into somebody else, then that I've made enough for me.
yeah,
Ultimately, like my goal in life is to like have a family, have a kid, have a wife. But to
yeah,
do that, I have to have a career that I enjoy that will make me a good enough person to do that. If I'm working like a garbage production job and I'm coming home every night and I'm like having a beer and I'm complaining and I'm like, ugh, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. My back hurts, my feet hurts. Like,
yeah.
like like I
It's
feel like it just wouldn't be fun to be around me at that point. So
yeah,
I want to be in a working position where work doesn't feel like work and it just feels like I'm doing what I feel like I need to be doing, if that makes sense. And then I can come
hmm.
home, feel happy, feel accomplished, and then
Yeah.
be with my people.
I'm excited for the point where I'm in that like that place. I think once I graduate college and like I hopefully get a job in like some tech
Yeah.
like place. That will be good.
Well,
But
life isn't a race,
yeah,
like, and
yeah,
that's people told me that, and like you'll hit that area. I mean, for
yeah,
sure. I mean, I feel like you're starting to hit it, like, because with you going into like all these math areas and like you said, like having the questions, asking questions, things like that. I mean, it's it comes with that. Like the moment you kind of see your value and you can see
yeah.
like I'm doing
I
things.
I'm starting to get to the point where I feel like I've my work is paying off somewhat, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, everyone goes through Algebra 2, so you're not special if you're going through Algebra 2, but not many people go through, like the stuff that I'm going through, partial differential equations and, like,
Yeah.
higher linear algebra. It's just that, I don't know, it feels like I'm learning something unique and I
Yeah,
can apply
niche.
that neat, yeah, something,
It's a nuanced thing. I mean, it's
yeah,
very.
something not everybody has that
I mean,
I
the thing
can
is like
use in the future.
people don't use the word like esoteric a lot, but
Yeah.
it's like very like you're everybody's a bit esoteric. Like everybody's a bit weird. They're all unique. I mean, like here, like a perspective I've had recently is like
Mm.
if I'm as complex as I am, other people are as complex as I am.
Oh yeah,
And I feel like a lot of people
yeah.
don't think about that.
That's a super important realization because I
Like,
think there's a term for it. It's like I don't know. Honestly, I think it's like main character syndrome, where like you
I mean,
you
everybody
every
has it for
yeah,
the most
everybody
part.
has it, but they tend not to see that everybody is also a main character in the same world, right?
Yeah.
Like when someone's driving slow in the car ahead of you, it's they have a whole life, and everybody else is the same way.
Well, I mean, it's just the subject of like philosophy in general. Like, so that this is like I love this stuff. So hold
Yeah,
on. Like how it's really hard to tell somebody that like everybody is trapped inside their body just like you are. They have their own views, they have their own thoughts. They've lived their own lives with their own thoughts rushing through their head
yeah,
every waking moment of their life, you know? But the thing is it's crazy because all you have to think about are your experiences that you've had in your life. For every experience you've had, everybody older than you has had double,
yeah,
everybody
yeah,
younger than you has had half. But that
yeah,
doesn't mean that they haven't had any. They have had some. So
yeah,
like the thing is like with these situations and these things that have happened to people, especially nowadays, like the effects that it has on the mental psyche and everything like that, it's really hard to like strip or to make people have this realization that like if all you've been doing all your life is asking like why am I me, or like why is my existence only in this guy, like why am I Timothy Johnson, or why am I
yeah,
Justin, why am I Leroy or Brady or Muck or anybody, like
yeah,
the it's it's a weird thing, and it's a hard realization whenever you realize everybody else is thinking the exact same thing and
yeah,
everybody is having the exact same feelings. Like the moment you realize human emotions are the exact same in everybody, but they're triggered differently and triggered by different things to different
yeah,
people, you start realizing humans aren't so different. Sure, they might get mad about like getting milk in your coffee or something, and they might
yeah,
throw the cup at the Starbucks worker,
yeah,
you know, but they're still just as mad as you were whenever the dude cut you off in traffic,
yeah,
like it's still the same level of anger. You've
yeah,
experienced anger like they have,
yeah.
so I feel like it's a bit harder to disregard that whenever you kind of put it in perspective like that. Like it's only justifiable when you do it, but not when other people do it. Kind of thing. I don't.
Mm.
I'm not like trying to turn this into that, but like
Everybody has
I feel like
different
I steered off
experiences.
the subject, but like I'm kind of trying to touch on it. Like
Yeah,
there somewhere along the line, like we're starting to like what the fuck am I trying to say? I don't know. We got onto the subject because you said everybody like the main character syndrome. So
yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't know.
Everybody has their own experiences, and it's hard to believe that because everybody has so many experiences. It's
Yeah.
hard to believe that everybody else, like, that's so much,
Well,
like,
I mean, yeah, and even when you do kind of come to that realization, you still kind of feel like,
yeah,
well, I am like, I don't know. I feel like ever since I did come to the realization that everybody it is like that, everybody does experience the main character
uh,
syndrome. Like, why am I me? I must be me for a reason. I must have something for to be me.
yeah,
I still think it's true. Like, I think there is a reason I am. I think there is a reason something. I don't know really what it is. If it's divine force, if it's
yeah,
just the human feeling to exist and crave to want something, the crave
yeah,
to want meaning, because we crave narrative, we crave story, we crave drama, we crave anything that can play on our emotions, that we can fantasize, anything interesting at all. We eat up. So
yeah,
the the fact that I don't know, the fact that it happens, we get absorbed into it.
yeah. I like philosophy.
It's
Philosophy is an interesting subject.
I mean, it's not wrong. Nothing can be wrong because it's only theory. And
Yeah.
I think that's what's valuable is because everybody has something valuable to add.
You said you do love
There's nothing
theorizing as
inherently
well. You
wrong, huh?
said you do love theorizing as well.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah. I took a philosophy class last summer, and I thought I would hate it
mhm.
because I was like, I'm a STEM person. Philosophy just stupid. But it was like one of my favorite classes I've taken.
Well, it makes you. I feel like philosophy makes you ask questions more so than anything else.
Yeah.
I feel like in math you'll start asking questions because you have to. Like it forces you to. I didn't want to when I started. That's why I didn't. Is like whenever I started struggling
Yeah.
in math, I started asking questions. The moment I started asking questions, I don't want to answer this. I don't care. I'm like I never cared before. I didn't have to ask questions before. Why do I need to answer them now? Like I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to ask myself why this
Questions
happens.
are so. Did,
Yeah,
did you
exactly.
ever in like school? Did you ever not ask questions because you were worried about what other people would think?
I mean, yeah, for a bit. After a while, I kind of gave up with it. I was
Yeah.
really like my senior year in high school was like a big moment for me. Like I don't know why, but like I feel like a lot of you who I am kind of got established my senior year in high school. Um, I like didn't really want to go to high school anymore. Like I was like really fed up with just doing it. I was
Yeah.
over with it. I felt like I didn't really belong in it. Like to put in perspective in my government class, like I don't think I showed up half the time. Like I think I was
Yeah.
only there like half the days I was actually supposed to be because I was dual enrolled. So I would like that was my first class back onto the main campus after my dual enrollment class. So I would just not show up. I would go home and
Yeah.
take a nap and show up later, right? But
Yeah.
in hindsight of that government class, right? Even though just wasn't there, I got like best senator of that class, and I got like in the mock senate.
Oh, that's cool.
Like
Yeah.
I think I probably had one of the highest grades in the class. Like
Yeah.
even though I just wasn't there. I'm not like gassing myself up, but like my thing is like I kind of just had a gauge of like where and what, and
How much
I just
effort?
kind
How
of
much effort you needed to put in?
well, yeah, I mean, something just clicked in me, and
Yeah.
I just kind of understood, like, where I needed to be, how I needed to retain information. Like, I don't know where I'm trying to go with this. Basically, like, I just did things and it worked. So whenever I had to do things and it didn't work,
It was.
I didn't know what
Yeah.
to do, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I just didn't. It was really hard for me for a long time to, like, figure shit out.
Yeah. I think.
But I remember like in high school, I remember that mock senate. We went in. I'm a changed man. I'm saying this. I'm saying this on the podcast. I'm gonna like out myself, but like I don't really view this the same way. But um, I was we were like we had an assignment going into the mock senate.
Uh
We
huh.
had to come up with a bill to pass, and we all went into like these rooms with like specific people, these groups, and they were like randomly picked or whatever. 20 people or so maybe. We have to go sit down and discuss a bill to pass. One of the bills discussed in the room where I was assigned to sit and listen to talk to the other senators or whatever.
Uh huh.
Um, I sat down and they were like 80% of the classroom were female. Like they were girls. and they were trying to pass tampons being free.
Yeah.
I was against it. Still low key am. Don't think they should be free. Their argument was condoms are free. No, they aren't free. The school bought them, distributes them. That was their argument. Condoms are free from schools. Should tampons be free from schools? I agree. So I think I think an institution should be able to provide that feminine hygiene products for their students, for the student body. But I feel like they already do anyways.
Yeah.
I think they do. I'm like
I
97%
know
sure.
at UCF they do.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you know, I'm assuming they do, but it was like high school kids just thinking they whatever. But anyways, they were saying something, and they're saying that they need to be completely free, right? I was like, number one, like if you're just saying you want to go to Target, pick up like 2 boxes of tampons and just walk out of the store and be fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's not how like
That's
our economy works.
yeah,
There's a
if
manufacturing
nothing's free,
cost.
people are going to hoard it.
Tax free, that's fine.
Yeah.
I understand tax free. You can buy that in tax free. All you're covering is manufacturing costs, and you're like paying the profit for the company that's making it. Which you should, because it is not, you know, there's no tree outside where you go and like grab a tampon off of it. You know, someone has to make it. There's manufacturing cost involved with it. If the economy like worked a bit differently and we lived in more of a socialist state, maybe they could be free. You know, you never know. But based off what's going on right now in the world, they can't be free. They couldn't be free. So I was like trying to express that.
Everybody was flaming.
They were getting so mad at me, right? They were getting so mad at me. And like my friend Grace, she was sitting next to me, I think, or just one of my friends was sitting next to me, and I think she was like kind of on my side. She was like, "This is like you can't really do it for free. Like it won't work out." And I was like, they were like yelling at me. They were getting mad at me, and I just wouldn't back down. And I got to the point where I'm like, you know what? If you're so worried about them being free, just go shove a rag up there and sit in the bathtub. I do not care. I like said this in front of like 80% female classroom, like 18 girls, like 15 girls at least, and all of them were like, "What?" they were all like that. My friend Grace, she started cracking up. I'm like, I don't know what you want me to say. It can't be free. I'm like, like if you want it to be free, you have to act like it's going to be free. Like there's free options out there if you want. But like, you know, if you want the luxury of being able to dispose of this stuff, you're going to have to pay for it. Yeah. And I don't. Low key still kind of agree by it, but like I don't like.
It makes sense.
I mean, I don't. In a perfect world, yes, I would hope they could be, you know, but ultimately, like it's a disposable thing that we have to like manufacture, and we have to manufacture a lot of, and it's you know, I mean, I don't know.
No, it's the same way.
They were like trying to argue like that it's. The only argument that I understood and that I could get behind was that it was a female only thing. So it was only because they were female that they had to buy it, and that men didn't have to purchase the product, which I understand, which I agree. It should have been tax free since it's something else. If there's STD prevention, there can be tax free for feminine hygiene.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But my issue is like. Their issue was like it was a bodily function. That was like one of their biggest arguments. I'm like, you have to pay for toilet paper. Like I have to wipe my ass. You know, like that's still a product as well. They make that. You know, but
Maybe
there's a tax on toilet
maybe
paper,
they could, like,
which is
subsidize
fine.
it.
Maybe
I would say.
I mean, I feel like
cheaper.
if you're in like a certain bracket, there's like maybe you could get some sort of like government shipment
Government shipment
of tampons, yeah, something. I don't know. That I mean, I feel like that'd be pretty useful. Maybe, who knows?
You'd have to just work out the logistics of it. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like it's not just like, oh, they're free now.
I mean, I'm pretty sure like even homeless shelters have them, but I mean, I don't feel like a college student that's suffering and eating ramen wants to go to a homeless shelter to grab tampons. So, but I mean, like I said, like if you're a college student, like I feel like this is also like just a high school debate. Like this is like literally just a high school debate, because I feel like if you ask a normal person this today, like they'd be like, tax free, sure, probably not completely free. You could probably lower the price too. Like, and that's a respectable answer. Like, I absolutely agree. Like, do I think a box should cost $15? No, probably like maybe $8, $7.50 less than. But it shouldn't be taxed, and it should be available. But and if you can't pay for it, feel like there should be a way to get it. You know, like
Yeah, I hated my government class. I
I
was
loved it. I
really.
genuinely loved it. I have a video on my YouTube channel. We had to do this like whatever of this like campaign or ad or whatever. Like it didn't have to be a video. I like doing videos in high school. So like
Yeah.
anytime I had to do like a project or like a performance or we
Um,
had to write down a project or like a presentation or PowerPoint or something,
yeah.
I would always be like, "Can I do it a video instead?" Like I always thought it was so
Do you
much
remember? Do
fun.
you remember Jeffrey?
No, I mean I know him, but I never
Yeah,
had him.
he for various world like European history classes, he would make us do like a video multimedia thing, and we would always do a video.
Hmm.
And I'll show you them after the podcast. But it's they're fun. They were fun to work on. I really enjoyed like messing around with After Effects and just trying to make it look nice.
I have one from my French class that my buddy Jish, Starboy, the guy. I'm sorry for the audience. He's been on the
Yeah.
podcast a few times. He actually produced all the music that we used in the video for the class. It was really cool. Like
That's awesome.
we like really made it. I think we got like an 85 on the on the video because yeah, we low key like messed up a bit of it.
Yeah.
It was low key stupid, but it was
I feel
funny.
like if I put in more effort,
I mean, it was
yeah,
extremely like 2016, 2017 humor. Like it
yeah.
was like bass boosts, like robot voices, like it was
Okay.
bad. But I mean, it was funny. It was
Yeah,
entertaining. I mean, I
yeah.
remember my teacher watching it and she like was like, cracking up. But she like asked viable questions afterwards of like, where's this information that you needed? And I'm like, uh,
Uh,
it's kind of there. And she's like, okay, that's an okay argument. I'll give you half credit. I'm like, okay, kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Probably got some mileage out of it.
yeah. But, I mean, I don't know. Me and Josh actually stayed up, I don't know how many times, like working on projects, like till like 3 a.m. I remember one time we stayed up till, I think it was that project, to be honest. We stayed up till like 3:30 and we had to be at school I mean, we had to wake up at like 6 to get to
Yeah.
school. We like accidentally slept in and like we didn't leave here till 10 and his mom like woke us up calling him was like, "Where are you? Like I got a call and you aren't in school. What is happening?"
Yeah.
And we're like, uh, Josh is like, bro, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That reminds me, I remember a time when I was in elementary school, right? I used to take the bus to school, and I woke up late and I missed the bus, and my parents weren't home, so I was like, well, oh well. I missed the FCAT that day because I slept in, and I was like, my parents are gonna be pissed, and so I like cleaned the windows and like
Yeah,
did like a whole bunch of house stuff. They came home, they're like, "Why aren't you at school?" And I was like, "Oh, I slept in, but here's the clean windows, and oh yeah,
yeah,
I also missed the FCAT." And my parents were like, "You missed what?"
yeah,
Like, oh, good times. I had to do a makeup test, and like
bro.
it was awful.
I remember I got sick in elementary school. I had a bunch of things happen to me when I was a kid. Like I
Yeah.
got really sick a lot when I was a kid. But in third grade, I had mono.
Uh-huh.
Like, and as a kid having mono, you have no idea what's happening. Like even like as an adult, when you get mono, you really don't know what's going on. You just feel like mad depressed. So like
Yeah.
as a 3-year-old feeling the weight of the world crushing your shoulders, I was like, what is happening to me?
Yeah.
Like, I just felt like I wanted to sleep all day, and I didn't take naps as a kid, and I didn't want to eat, and I was a fat kid. So my parent,
Yeah.
everybody knew that there was something up. It took forever. Um, but like nobody believed me at my school. I had to go to like therapists and things like this at the school. They were like
Yeah.
trying to like sum it up like I had an objective, like I wanted to go home and get homeschooled, so like that's why I was acting out. So like they thought I was like it was like a scheme or something.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, it was like for me to like tell people like I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, trying to communicate this to people and
Yeah.
them just like not understanding it.
That must be
It
traumatic.
was it was I think that's why I like am so obsessed with literature art and making sure like I can convey my correct meaning to people is so they
Yeah.
can take me seriously. So,
Yeah.
like
That
I know what
sounds.
I'm saying. I'm not some like kid anymore or something.
I
Like
take for granted the fact that people actually listen to me now.
yeah,
Like,
like that's what I'm saying. Like I think communication is huge
oh
in the
yeah,
especially today's date. I
yeah,
mean, like today's like lingo, right? If you look at it, the way this is an interesting take, and I hopefully I can pinpoint this correctly,
uh-huh.
but I feel like our generation has like conformed an understanding and comfortable like way of communication. So like you know how I'm feeling for
Yeah,
real. Like
yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah,
exactly what I'm saying for real.
Yeah,
Like you're picking up what I'm putting down. Like we come up with these terms, these ideologies, these things. Like why are you flacking me right now? You know, like you say that I get a laugh at you, right?
yeah,
But why are you bullshitting me? Like why are you like throwing shade at me right now? Like
yeah.
uh,
It's a
depending on what words you have, it has different meanings based off the context we used.
yeah.
Like in based off the context our generation has implemented on society. So like we've come up with different things.
It's
Like
more
well,
informal.
I mean, like, if somebody's saying something like, "Oh, you know, like I saw your girl last night," and be like, "Bro, you're capping," right? But like, if you said, "Bro, you're lying," like it comes off like this huge difference. Like, if I said that to somebody and somebody said, "Bro, you're lying," like it, I feel like there's more of an intensity saying it
Yeah,
that way, and I feel like our generation knows that subconsciously filled it with a
yeah,
different word because we understand the value of the communication. Because you can't goof around with boomers like you can with other people of our
yeah,
generation. You know, like if you come up and start clowning on someone that's younger than us, or not that's younger than us, or even that's younger than us, or our age, they'll probably laugh and be like, start clowning on you too, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I feel
You
like
can
if
figure.
you do that with someone older, it's immediately about respect, and that's fine. But they also don't understand the lingo, they don't understand the connotations of it, and there's different things about it. So I
Yeah,
think our generation is finally understanding that communication is extremely important, and we're trying to kind of reinvent the idea that like the
yeah.
understanding of communication and kind of find a social
I think
norm.
it's a thing of like, cause like I know it's very similar. I know pilots, they have this issue where like these policies and ways you treat your superiors
Mm-hmm.
is so important that it gets in the way of the job.
Yeah.
Cause like if the pilot, the captain does something wrong, a lot of the lower officers won't say anything.
Yeah.
If even if they have a suspicion, they'll be like, "Oh, I can't speak out. That's disrespectful." And
Mm-hmm.
then something goes wrong, and they're like, "Well, I knew it was going to go wrong, but I held
Yeah.
my tongue." And I feel like that's kind of like an older
Well,
generation thing. And
they view it as a sign of disrespect, but
yeah,
it's not. Ultimately, like if somebody's doing something wrong
yeah,
and you're part of something, I feel like it would be more disrespectful to not say anything. If I mess something up, you're gonna let me keep doing what I'm doing
yeah.
without any flaw.
I
I
feel
feel
like
like if you messed up, you should pay the price. So
hmm
if I mess up, I should pay the price. It's the same kind of thing. Like
yeah,
I mean, it's there was like the sign of the idea. I feel like the idea or definition of respect might have changed a little bit over the
yeah,
years,
that's what I'm
and
thinking
I
as
mean,
well.
maybe not necessarily the design, but the way you earn it,
Yeah, I think the way
possibility,
you
or
also like show it too. Like I
yeah,
feel like before you respected someone because they were above you, and now you respect someone because they're equal in a way.
Well, the thing is like someone said the other day. I've been watching the show Community, right?
uh-huh,
And somebody said like in one of the scenes it says, "I found your value to me," and
uh-huh,
I found that extremely interesting. Like I found that like extremely interesting
yeah,
because that just shows like people have your value, but if they don't have your value to you, there's no reason for you to necessarily put them into your life. You
uh-huh,
can if you get along with them, but ultimately it's the people that have value to you that matter, whether that value be making you feel love, making you feel happy, making you laugh, making you joke around, helping you with statistics, helping you with taxes, helping you with
yeah,
things. It could be a physical, it could be a mental, but either way, if there's some sort of value and you can deduce that there's a positive income and it outweighs the negative incomes of knowing this person, then it's a
yeah.
justifiable reason to be friends with them.
Do you think like that all the time? Do you think about like I like to use the word utility.
I justify my I kind of judge people at like a for like I do not feel guilty when I say I judge people. I feel like everybody should judge people. I feel like
Yeah.
it's an extremely important thing. If we
If you
didn't,
trust people innately,
yeah,
then
exactly.
there's
You
no
should
thought.
always
Yeah.
trust yourself first and trust your judgment. And just because you're judging someone doesn't mean that you have to act on your judgments either. If you
Yeah.
judge something, you say, "Oh, that doesn't align with what I think about," just accept that that's the fact and move on. Now if
Yeah.
you approach a situation, you know how to approach it. They don't agree with me, so maybe they might want to know my point
Yeah.
of view, but until they
If you're
incite they
trying to insert your judgment as truth into a situation,
exactly
then that's where the conflicts come from.
exactly so the way I do it is like, if I'm talking to someone, or if especially if we're steering towards a subject that means a lot to me or something like that, and we're talking about a judgment, and I'm listening to their values or their things about it. If I see that they don't necessarily agree with me, I will listen to their thing. But I will kind of like only let them get a certain point, if that makes any sense. I will only let them know a certain amount of what I think, because I feel like even though I have the control of not letting their ideals get to me or whatever, like
Mm.
I will not overshare to make them. I don't want to make them feel alienated from my ideals, because I feel
Yeah.
like I have a better time accepting accepting that judgment, accepting, like, understanding that, like, they might not think more critically of me. They might have more of a passionate opinion about the subject than I do. So if I express mine, they disagree with it. This conversation could end very differently than what it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
I kind of keep people, I don't want to say on a leash, but like I keep them at an arm's distance, and like whether I let them in further or push them further back is dependent on how the conversation's going.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So like, if that's a good analogy for it or not, but
Yeah. I feel that way. I'm that way with like a few different topics. Like some of those more like not at the dinner table
I mean,
topics.
it's not necessarily specifically a topic oriented, but it's like kind of like the generalized vibes. So like I don't necessarily look at people's views on specific topics. I look at the reason why they have those views, if that
Yeah,
makes
I'm
any sense.
The
So
same thing because
like, if somebody has like extremely progressive views, but they've come from like an extremely low income family and things like that, I will respect those because of the challenges and hardships that they face.
yeah.
Exactly. Like, I know the reason why they have these views, and it because they have these views, because of their life that they've whatever, like that is valuable to me, and it's justified to have those views. When
Yeah.
I look for hypocrisies. If I look into you and I find that like your moral alignment isn't true to yourself and you aren't really sure what you're doing, then I kind of keep you
Yeah.
like at an arm's length, because I don't
It's
want to let people like that in, because if they aren't sure about their relationship with themselves, am I going to be sure with like their
yeah.
relationship with me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if they aren't comfortable knowing and being comfortable, like if they aren't comfortable holding their ideals and knowing that they aren't agreed with coherently
Yeah.
and widely and just
If they're self-aware.
undeniably accepted, and they
Uh-huh.
know that it's not undeniably accepted, and there's other opinions and other feelings and other ideals, and they're respectful about that, bro, perfectly
Yeah.
fine.
There's people on campus that I've been thinking about. Just I don't know. Just I was walking by and these people had signs, and you know, people like you're going to hell and all that.
Yeah.
And he was just preaching. He was like, "You can be cured of your lesbianism. You can be
Yeah.
cured of your transgenderism." And I was like, "How do you wake up at 9 in the morning and like go to a like one of the gayest campuses, like the gay
Yeah.
population at UCF is
a lot larger than like a lot of other places.
Yeah.
and how do you wake up in the morning and go preach there about that? Like what inspires them? And I don't know, it's very just interesting that they're I don't know, their views they want to share their views so publicly and openly, and
Exactly.
why would they want to like
Because they feel like they have a higher meaning. They feel like they
yeah
have um they feel like their point of view is more valuable than the opposing. And
yeah
since they have this promise of religion in general. So I don't really talk about religion or politics too much on the podcast, and I'm trying to talk about it more.
Yeah.
It's a bit scary because I don't like judgment,
Yeah.
but I judge people, so I gotta face it either
I
way.
am very open with
Um,
my views,
yeah,
and a lot of people don't like my views.
yeah, but the way I view religion, I'm not necessarily going into my beliefs, and I don't
Yeah.
really want to.
Yeah.
But in my aspect of view of religion itself, I feel like it is an important thing for people, and it has been for years. I feel like its importance is slowly evading
Hmm.
humanity. So it's kind of like I don't want to say it's dying off,
It's
but I
not
feel
in the
like the
limelight.
need is kind
Yeah.
of going away. We have other things that we can focus on that kind of gives us the drive that religion once gave us. When religion kind of first kind of came forth, what was the world? It was very very isolated. We were very very specific in people. It was very family oriented. It was
Hmm.
very kind of marry, settle down, have a family, create kids. That
Yeah.
was like the human objective for ages. Now there's objectives like there's these goals. Like
Hmm.
sure back then it was like get food on the table, sell the sheep, sell the cotton, do this, make sure the farm's good, make sure the crops are
Yeah.
coming. What time season is it? They had things to do and things to focus on, but there's more things to focus on these days. And I feel like the gap of religion was to give these people these drives, these things, a justification for what they're doing, a reason why, a reason to live. But I feel like there are reasons to live nowadays, more so.
Yeah.
People have a hard time facing um, unknown realities. The unknown reality: if we die, do we just see black? Do we go to heaven? Do we become this consciousness? Do we become the energy that our body just simply is, and we become a tree? Like
Yeah.
what does it feel like? What does it look like?
Yeah.
Um, People crave this, and instead of asking the questions and feeling anxious about not knowing the subject, people don't like not knowing things. People like knowing. We want fact. That's why
Yeah.
science exists. Is we're trying to find fact. We're trying to prove why we're here. you know
Yeah.
um but if it's just easy to write it off. I feel like religion, it's easy to write it off and be like, this is why we're doing it, this is what it is. And I'm not saying just because it's easy it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong at all. I think
Yeah.
it's a perfectly viable explanation. Belief is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
I'm almost jealous of some people that have devotion to religions because they have a belief, they have a passion for their life that I might not have,
Yeah.
that I might do have. I don't know because I'm not these other people.
Mm.
But in summary, religion is a tool to keep us moving, to keep doing the human life, to keep
To
things
give
moving,
some
to give
motivation
a
when there's no
reason. It was
motivation.
to give morals.
Yeah.
Initially, I think it's to establish morals and understandings. It was a law form, a generalized understanding. Each religion, if you look at it, to me at least, the root of each religion kind of relies the same. Like, do good things, whatever the good things may be, depending on where the religion was established.
Yeah.
Do good things, you will be kind of rewarded, whether it be eternal life, whether it be blessings, whether it not necessarily. Sometimes you don't have to do good things to be rewarded, like Buddhism. Just live your life in the moment and you will be rewarded via that, via
Yeah.
the promise of nirvana, whether you believe in nirvana or whether you understand what nirvana might be to you. Because I feel like there is a nirvana to people, just like there is a heaven to different people.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's definition and ideals of these different nuanced topics of religion itself is different, and there's no understanding of it that is exactly the same between two people. Everybody's envisionment of heaven is different. Everybody's envisionment of God is different. Everybody's, even if you're following the same religion, like
Yeah.
it's different. And that's the way I view it. And I don't know how to do, I don't really know where to go from there. But I feel like that's about that's about the extent to it.
Yeah.
Um,
You mind if I blow my nose real
yeah, go
quick?
ahead.
Is it
um,
here, like?
no, you're good, bro. But it's just one of those things.
I'm I have very similar views. I
I think it's important.
uh-huh.
I think it's very important
Mhm.
I think politics is slowly replacing it, though. I think
It's more
because
important.
the thing is I think people are kind of realizing I don't.
We're more connected to it.
Yeah.
Back in like medieval dark ages, whatever, you lived in your little surf village, whatever. That was all you had. You didn't really have a connection to the greater politics of every of the nation you lived in. Like you knew
Well,
you
yeah.
lived in it, but it wasn't something that directly affected you.
Well, I feel like Christian or not Christian, sorry, religion in general. Um, I feel like it was made to evolve. Like, I mean, people evolve, and if you believe in a religion that disputes that, you can believe
Mhm.
that, but I can't. I personally can't ignore the facts. I can't ignore the evidence of evolution and things.
Yeah.
And if we are supposed to evolve emotionally, physically, mentally, everything, I feel like our practices, our morals, our understandings need to evolve as well,
Yeah.
or else we will never truly evolve, and we will
You'll
just
you'll be fighting against it, and it'll
exactly.
just go
So I
go
think
with
that
go with the
I
flow.
think that's why philosophy is kind
Yeah.
of becoming more important again, is because we need to reassess the situation of why we view ourselves the way we do again, because I
Yeah.
feel like it's time to readdress that. It's time to
Mhm.
readdress like who we are. It's you know, I feel like the
Yeah.
world's still like pretty. I mean, it's open. I feel like it's more open and understanding than it has been before. But
For
at the
sure.
same time, the negative has never been louder. You
Mhm.
know, like with all the platforms available for people to be, is it sodomized and like bigoted
Yeah.
and
Canceled.
yeah, cancel at anything, like it's more relevant, it's more seen, you know, it's more common to see negativity than it is good
Mhm.
positivity, you know. so
Stands out.
so you know, it's also human emotion. It's what we crave conflict, we crave whatever, and I don't think it's an inherently bad thing. It's just we crave drama. It triggers our fight and flight, and that's the closest thing we have to living, you know,
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
most part. um so I think it's just interesting. I think we gotta reassess things and help people out. I think,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been kind of filibustering on the subject, and I kind of reiterated the same statement over and
No,
over. But
it's all good. I enjoy talking about religion because like Hannah, she is very not like super religious, but like she's religious.
mm-hmm,
And I am not,
mm-hmm,
but I enjoy hearing the perspectives of people that are religious because like the people aren't stupid. I mean, some people are, but for the
yeah,
most part, they think what they think for reasons. And I think it's interesting to hear a lot of those reasons, and I hope they like to listen to my reasons. But um, I don't know. It's I always have good conversations with Hannah
yeah. I mean,
because
I don't. Like I said, I don't inherently hate religion. I hate
yeah.
the divide it can bring.
Oh
But
yeah.
that's just like I said. I
I
feel
think
like
it's
it just. I
stupid.
think it
People.
just needs to evolve, like we evolved.
Yeah.
Like the times are different.
I think it's stupid that people fight over believing in something they can't be
Well, I mean, I
completely
think
positive
there's
about.
obviously there's also like religions and that are more cultish and things that are like kind of wrong that we should probably do away with. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it might also be like where we grew up. Like, it, that's the other thing. Is just like, you know, we won't agree with like the Muslim traditions, but we didn't grow up over there. We don't know the norms. They it might be like generally accepted over there, like
Yeah.
thoroughly accepted over there,
Mhm.
and it might be like common knowledge, and like we kind of view it, and we say things that like are super like negative about it. But like,
It's
who's to
all
say these people that
it's
like
all
they don't?
about the experiences you have. Because like
I
my
mean,
parents.
yeah. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
I low-key kind of want to steer off religion
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
but either way, we can steer into music though. Do you have any music
Any
recommendations?
music recommendations? I have a few artists that I have never heard anybody ever talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I think I showed you it before. Tennyson.
Uh-huh.
I no, I haven't ever heard anybody ever talk about it. But I first heard about it when I was in the Call of Duty community.
Okay.
People would make edits.
Yeah.
And they would use Tennyson's music.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And I listen to it I still listen to it, even though I used to listen to it back in middle school. It's just always something I can always go back to. Great music. Very, I don't know, it's a little weird. It uses a lot of how do I explain it? You know those books back in elementary school where it would just be a page full of various objects, and it'd be oh, find the ball, and
Yeah.
you would look through it, and it's like a Where's Waldo, but just
Yeah.
objects everywhere, right?
I feel like some of the music he makes is very similar to that.
Okay.
It's just an assortment of different things. There's a
monkey's noise in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's a weird collaboration.
It's experimental.
Yeah, very. It's pretty
Mm-hmm.
experimental, but it's just kind of pleasing to listen to
Hmm.
because there is pattern to it. It's not just what is it, Death Grips or something.
Yeah. I mean, I like Death Grips. I can only listen to it for so long, but
yeah, it's very harsh. But Tennyson is very, very chill. It's like trap and lo-fi, but
Mhm.
not. I don't know. It's you'd have to listen to it to really
yeah.
see it. But yeah, Tennyson's good. Another artist I listen to is City Girl, not City Girls.
Okay.
It's lo-fi,
Okay.
but I don't know. I can listen to 4 or 5 of her albums just back to back, just on loop. They're good.
What was her name again?
City Girl.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You got another one?
City Girl. I'd have to look at my.
Well, if you got two down. That's good enough.
Yeah.
That's good enough. For my recommendations. I didn't actually tell you this, but this is a segment we do every week,
Oh, yeah.
where I ask each viewer or listener, each guest, not viewer. So I don't care about the viewers. I ask each guest their music recommendations or tastes.
Yeah.
Dave McKay released a new EP. I've recommended him before, I think. It's experimental, kind of, I don't want to say noir jazz, but it's really really laid back. It's really cool.
Okay.
It's a bit production, so there's some synth in it. It's like a jazz fusion, but it's really cool. The dude's sick. I think Dave McKay is one of the best. He's a super good artist.
Is it instrumental or does it?
Yeah,
are
it's
there
instrumental.
vocals?
There's no vocals.
Yeah.
I'm going to recommend Distorted Harmony.
Huh.
I've recommended A Way Out before, but I'm going to recommend the Chain Reaction album. It is their second album. It wasn't their first, but their second one is really good. I think it's pretty fun. I've really enjoyed Distorted Harmony. They're a bit genty, metalcore, very good, enjoyable.
Yeah, I remember you showed me Thank You Scientist a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I still listen to them.
Yeah, very good band.
Yeah.
But
I actually listen to them on the way here.
yeah,
Stranger Heads Prevail.
yeah,
my
it's
favorite
pretty
album.
good, bro. Maps to non-existent
Maps of
places.
yeah.
Um,
I didn't like Terraformer that much.
I love Terraformer.
I
I
like-
think that album is the
I
nerdiest
liked
that they have.
the FXIV
Yeah.
whatever. I liked that song, but I don't know. I can't listen to it like I can Stranger Heads Prevail.
I feel like Terraformer, you need a more active listening ear for it. So you got to
Yeah.
sit down and actually listen. It's harder to kind of put on in the background.
Yeah.
If you ask me, I feel like if you put that album on, if you want to listen to it,
Yeah.
because when I listen to music, it's really hard for me to just kind of leave music on because I'm sitting here and I'm
Yeah.
listening to each layer, I'm trying to
yeah.
engulf
I feel like
myself.
Stranger
in this
Heads
thing.
Prevail is kind of like a background album because there are vocals,
Yeah.
but they're kind of hard to hear.
Yeah.
You can't tell exactly what they're saying. You can pick some words out, but it's just how they
You might
sing
like
the
Little
words.
Tybee.
Yeah, I know you showed me. Was it The Outsider? I think. Or,
What is Outsider?
Or
From who? From
um,
Little Tybee?
no, it's The Observer from Artificial Language.
Oh yeah, you like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, that album's good, but you can't really understand what they're saying a lot of the time.
Um,
Unless
I
you're
feel like
really listening.
I don't know
to
a lot of that. I mean, yeah, sometimes you don't, but like, I feel like if you read it one time, you like can hear what they're saying after.
it. Yeah.
I find myself reading a lot of the lyrics to songs that I'm listening to,
Uh-huh.
especially like that. Like you said, it is a bit hard. Um, I don't know. It can be a bit difficult, um, to decipher what they're saying, but I don't think it's too important. Artificial Language, I really enjoy their music because I like the tone of his voice and I like the way it layers into the music itself. Plus
Yeah.
the backgrounds of Artificial Language are so clean. Like it's
Yeah, it's
crazy.
good.
So but yeah, no bro. I appreciate you coming on, Justin. Is there
Yeah, no
is there
problem.
any final
Um,
thoughts, final things?
not that I can think of. Sorry, we rambled on about religion.
No,
for
yo,
so
it's
long.
fine. It doesn't matter. I kind of been wanting to talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's just it's a very, I feel like we got to be a bit more open-minded, and I mean people say that and people get upset about it, but
Yeah.
I feel like if you're getting upset about it, you probably aren't open-minded enough.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, and I don't mean to say that in an aggressive way,
No,
but I mean in a
yeah,
constructive way.
yeah.
Sometimes people are pretty blind to themselves,
Mhm.
and a lot of the times, like, you know, people won't say like, hey, you have a pimple on your forehead, you know, but
Yeah.
the person might want you to tell them, hey, like, I have a pimple on my forehead, and let me go take care of that before I like
Yeah.
go see like 70 people today. You know, like
Yeah.
we're scared of backlash, but sometimes there's not any, and we need to like assess the situations at hand. So it is what it is. Oh well.
Oh well.
All right, bro.
All right. Well,
I appreciate it once again.
indeed. It was good being on.
As for the viewers, get the fuck out. I don't want you here anymore. We are moving on. I might see you next week, might not. We will see. But I do think the next episode is going to be with my homeboy Sloan. So stay tuned for that. He actually is in journalism right now, so we might actually have a little bit of smoke about.
That'll be an interesting.
I think it'll be a
podcast.
really fun podcast. So, all right, boys. Thank you once again. Get out, lock in the door.